talk a little bit about, so this is a little more product related, but we all use various, sorry, I was reaching in a box, I got glitter all over my hands. So, we all use different kinds of magical products, whether, you've got like oils or powders or, different candles, things like that. And one of the things, and I see this with other, cause I buy stuff from other people too, because I can't make it all, and I like to experience other people's energy and the products they make too. So, and one of the pieces of feedback I always get on my products from other practitioners is they're like, "Wow, your stuff always comes like fully charged and activated, and it's got an amazing energy and vibration to it, and like, what do you do?" And I sit there and think, like, some people, when it comes to charging and activating an oil, there's a lot of different methods, and some of it does pertain to specific areas of, or types of practices where, if you're working with lunar magic, you might want to charge. If I was making a new moon oil, I would probably make it on the new moon. Or if I was making a full moon oil, I would make it on the full moon. That's why you have things like moon water or you charge your crystals on the full moon. So sometimes people do things based on lunar cycles. If you were doing something that was with planetary magic, you might want to do it in that planetary hour. If you were going to do something wealth related, you might want to do it in the hour of Jupiter. There are certain things that can be pulled in to when you're making magical items in that sense. Now, the length of time in which something is charged is, my feelings on it are this, and this doesn't come from other, practices and traditions might have different feelings on this, like, for me, it comes down to the skill and ability of the practitioner. Because, yeah, you can throw a bunch of stuff in a bottle and go ooga booga, and, or you could sit there and charge it for 10 years and it still be just, stuff in a bottle that doesn't do anything. If you don't have that skill, because you're pulling in, your own magical energy. I also have, I'm a Reiki master, so I've got my Reiki mastery. I have the spirits and entities that I work with. So a lot of that gets infused into what I make and how I make it. Even down to, especially if I'm doing something that's related to a particular entity, sometimes they're like, I want this type of thing. Like, I just released a Belial's Hammer of Justice court case oil and a Lucifer's Love drawing oil. These are specific to workings that I've done with these particular entities and things that they wanted. Sometimes they communicate when I'm channeling through them, like, I want this and that. Or here's the, maybe not a specific formula, but getting an idea of what they want in that. So you get that, and some of it is going to be technical expertise, or known correspondences for things. And then because I make everything in my home, where I have various altars and magical practices going on at all time, you're also getting a lot of that magical energy that's just because they're exposed to those things on a regular basis. So when it's a hard question to answer with, like, how long is this charged and activated for? I don't keep a stopwatch on. I don't know. You can do, like, if you're making an oil, you could be like, take the, lavender, I call upon your, properties of love and healing. I charge and activate you as you put it, as you start to put things together. Bay leaf, I call upon you for your properties of, wish fulfillment or stuff like that. So you could do it in that sense, in how you charge and activate stuff. Or, as you've got, I charge and activate these, ritual implements, this oil, for this intention. And, as you're concentrating and drawing your magical energy into it, that comes through the process of picking everything out, putting it all together, putting it in the jar, or however you're constructing it, putting it all together, into how long it's... With some things, it all depends. Like with doing a ritual oil, sometimes I have them, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Marinating for longer than others. Just because, like, sometimes I'll make something, I'll be like, okay, well, I don't have time to get to bottling this right now, so it might sit there for a week. That it's all kind of got that energy working into it. And, you know, as, you know, I'm taking it out, straining it, you know, you're getting that tactile energy that's put into that. And the intention of it. And does it have to be for 40 days and 40 nights? You know, does it have to be, you know, from lunar cycle to lunar cycle? A lot of that is up to you, and you know, as a practitioner and stuff. But one of the things you can do, because even though my stuff comes in the set that it does, I mean, that's the feedback I've got, is that, like, people are like, wow, it comes completely activated and, you know, charged and, you know, magically ready to go. And that's true to an extent, but you still kind of have to, you know, sure, I can dump I think this is a healing oil I made a while ago, and just kind of put a janky label on. Sure, I could dump this on a candle and be like, woohoo, and call it a day. But I still want to pull, even if I bought this from someone else, I still want to pull my intention and my energy into it. Even if it's made by another practitioner, I would, you know, or if it's my own oil, I'll pick it up and be like, healing oil, I charge and activate you. You know, if I'm working with Archangel Raphael or President Marbas or Lucifer or whatever, you know, just holding that, you know, with attention. And it doesn't have to be for a long time, you know, because as I'm doing things, I charge and activate this healing oil for the power of, and then if I'm doing a particular healing ritual, directing it towards whatever that ritual is. So that's a little bit, I just want to kind of get into the nitty gritty, because I do have a lot of customers that are newer to working in witchcraft and have a lot of questions, and that's one that kind of came up recently. And it kind of like I was thinking, like, well, how long do people, and some people do full on, you know, multi-day rituals and have things charging on altars. I mean, sometimes I use a radionics box for things, but, you know, it's a lot of it's just up to the practitioner, because, like, you know, if you throw a bunch of herbs in a jar, you've got a bunch of herbs in a jar. You could set that jar on an altar for a year and you're still going to have herbs in a jar if you don't have the, you know, if you don't, and you know, have your magical energy connected to it, or the spirits you work with, or anything, or add your intention to it. So the time's a little iffy. Like, I'm sure there are some like, oh no, this has to be done for, you know, however long. And that's fine if that's of your tradition. It doesn't necessarily mean the product, because if you're buying something mass marketed at an occult store, I'm sorry, it's probably not been made by that tradition in that length of time if it's mass marketed. And it may not be magically activated, or you may have to do extra work to get it to be something that's really, you know, concrete, activated, and ready to go. But that being said, it's not, you still have to do work on your end as a magical practitioner to work with those things. It comes to an extent, but you've got to kind of push your intention, your part of it, when you're using it in a ritual, to push your intention into it and direct that energy towards what you want. Because, you know, you can put all the healing oil all over everything and, you know, grandma's picture and stuff, and it, you know, may or may not work. You know. Yeah. So anyways, that's just kind of a little what I wanted to talk about in the magical world of charging and activating stuff. And if you have other, you know, methods of doing it, I don't think this is something that there's a yes or no, right or wrong way to do. We all have just different ways of doing things and stuff like that. And don't feel like you have to be stuck in a rigid, dogmatic, it's got to be done this way for this amount of time and blah, 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 and stuff like that. You do you. You know, do what works for you. That's all I have to say on that. But anyways, thank you for watching my channel. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Mwah.